Okay, Anne, we're going to get to your third one right now. Let's see, that is, what was that, about the sky again?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yes. Yeah, Soko ni sora ga aru kara. Yeah, this is the ending theme, one of the ones used in Advanced Generation, the first one, I believe. And it is written... Well, it gets complicated. The performing artist is Ezaki Toshiko, and she is sometimes credited as the composer, but not always, and we'll get to that. But she is a singer, songwriter, composer, and crystal bowl player from Kyoto, Japan, woman of many talents. And she also produces and composes for a lot of other artists. She's written and produced several albums for herself, but seems to get most of her work working with other well-known artists. Another person who is sometimes credited in composing is a woman named Mitome Kazumi, and she worked at Square before it became Square Enix, and she was mostly doing sound effects creation, but eventually got into composing work and did some stuff for Pokemon like Giratina and the Sky Warrior, and is sometimes credited as being the composing and maybe producing this track. It gets a little confusing, and I am terrible with name kanji, so without the liner notes right in front of me, I don't think I could give you a solid on who did exactly what for this song. But it's just, this song will break your heart. It's just so sad, and it's kind of just got that minor feel. And I love the lyrics of it. It feels like the sort of thing that Pikachu could sing to Ash, or vice versa. It's just kind of lifting up somebody who has fallen, I guess, or experienced some hardship, and being like, look around, like, look at the road you've walked, the road you're going down. Like, it's okay if you fall, you're you, and that makes you wonderful. Like, it just makes me cry, this song. It's just so sweet.
Yeah, it's got a wonderful bit of melancholy to it. I have to absolutely give it that. I think instrumentally, one of my favorite parts is that, I'm not sure if it's a flute or some other type of woodwind instrument that plays throughout. It's got that great sort of sweet sorrowness to it, I suppose you could say.
Yeah.
And without it, this song would instrumentally not be nearly as good. I'm not going to say it's my favorite ever, but it is very good. Yeah,
no, it's just a nice, unique little piece kind of tucked away in those ending themes that's really quite nice.
Yeah, it actually kind of sounds like something you would hear maybe in a more serious anime as an ending theme or something like that.
Yeah, no, when you stack it up against, Pokemon, and it's like stuff like Brock's Girl Song or Two Perfect Girls or the Glory Day, stuff like that, it seems just that little bit different, that it just suddenly takes a more melancholic turn, but yeah, I don't know, I think it's really quite special.
What are the lyrics talking about? You sort of alluded to it a little bit, but give us some more details.
Yeah, it's kind of from the point of view of somebody trying to encourage somebody who is clearly suffering from something, whether that's a failure or I don't know, poor self-image or something. And they're talking about, like, when you see a smile, it seems your sorrow will be healed. The sun, is going to peer through the crack in the clouds and shine on your, like, frank eyes. And those who have been hurt cannot see the blue sky, like lines like that. If you hesitate, even if you hesitate to walk on this journey, like, your life will still shine as long as you're walking. So it's just kind of that, trying to encourage somebody who, like, I don't know, maybe they're depressed, like, but just trying to buoy them up and get them to keep going, because as long as they keep going, eventually they will be able to appreciate the sky that's still shining on them, kind of thing.
Yeah, now you did mention Ash and Pikachu. Since we have those new characters, anyway, this could apply to May, or who knows, even Max or Brock.
I think it definitely could. I say Ash and Pikachu specifically because in the ending theme, they are the two pictured. That music video playing along with this song creates a very intimate sort of feel between the two of them. But yeah, no, it definitely could apply to any of them, to Brock as he's going on his journey, to May, who spends that entire season, like insecure and hesitating on her path. It definitely could apply to any character in this anime, because they are all on journeys and they are all supported by friends and family who are helping them to keep going. But I definitely do think there is kind of a special focus on those two that kind of made them choose to put the two of them in that ending theme trailer and nobody else.
Very interesting choice. Yeah, I do kind of wish we got these sort of endings more so like that in terms of like the visuals there, but you know, it just doesn't always work out there with licensing and stuff like that. But this is a fairly unique, especially as an ending to the anime. You know, in the TV series, we don't get much like this. More so in the movies sometimes, but definitely not in the TV series very often. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember in Pokemon Symphonic Melody, that ending theme, the visuals too, also had a moment where like suddenly the happy music just took a dive and Ash was crying and like everybody had to come over and like pull him out of it, kind of a thing. So I wonder if they were kind of like trying to play with different depths to Ash's character or something at that time.
Yeah. Okay, well, I've got one more song as well. And the one I picked is Pokemon Chronicles. And yeah, we kind of spoiled it earlier. This is not the English Pokemon Chronicles theme, which is this, to be honest, kind of strange variant of PokeRap GS. Instead, this is the Italian version. And so one thing you should know is sometime in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, in Italy, for a lot of children's shows, I don't know if this was a legal thing or just something that became sort of a pattern or what, they would not do a dub of like the US opening theme. Instead, they would write a new song, and they were usually performed by one or two specific people during that time period. Let's see, I'm probably going to not do very well in these names, but I'll try. Cristina D'Avena and Giorgio Vanni are the two names you will see a lot. As far as Pokemon goes, they did these unique themes from Season 1 all the way up through at least the first season of Diamond and Pearl. There's Pokemon Diamante e Perla, I think is what it is there. And I should let you know that if you want to take a listen to these, they're actually not very hard to find commercially. If you go on iTunes, there's a big compilation called The Master Saga, and then a couple of Cristina D'Avena's compilation albums have some of the other ones there. So if you dig through, you can find them pretty well. They're actually pretty easy to get, which is something we won't be able to say for some of the other countries we may talk a little bit about later. But yeah, so for Italy, they went through and they made an entirely new song just for Pokemon Chronicles, which, as you may recall, was distributed somewhat differently depending on what territory you were in. That may be part of the reason they haven't done more of it, is it's just logistically difficult. But it's got a mixture of English and Italian lyrics, and I, to be honest, don't really know what the Italian part of it says. I just really love the way this one sounds. Of course, the English part of it starts out, I want to be with the Pokemon. I want to be in the Pokemon world and Pokemon Chronicles. It sounds a lot better in the actual song. It is still obviously a little bit cheesy there just because of the nature of it, but I just, there's so much excitement and emotion in this version of the song, or in the song that they created. Anna, did you get a similar vibe from there?
Absolutely. It's so fun. And I've listened to a couple of those Italian ones as well, like during the days of burnt CDs, illegally obtained ones probably. A friend of mine gave me a couple of them, and I wasn't quite sure what I had, but I put myself through college as a janitor, and I would sing to those songs, even though I don't speak a lick of Italian. They were just so happy and so like full of energy. I loved them. And yeah, this one especially it's just so bouncy and
I love this one has apparently both Cristina and Giorgio, and which I guess is Italian variant of George or something like that. But there's this part in it where they're sort of it seems like they're doing a call and response type of deal, and I really do love listening to these. It's just a ton of fun, and I'd certainly recommend you check these out. Another good one in the Italian wheelhouse, I would say, is the Master Quest, which of course is the Italian Season 5 theme. It's got that kind of weird "Can't Stop the Future." It's a little bit. If you just listen to the English parts, if that's all you get, some of these are a little bit odd, but they're all pretty neat, and they all have remixed versions for at least like the first 5 seasons or so that I think are used in the movies that have those. So some really great stuff that if you're not aware of, hopefully you are now, and I really recommend you check those out. And of course, we got some feedback from the listeners here. I'm going to start with the stuff I got on my end. So let's see, this one's from, hope I got this name relatively close, Luis Avendano. So he says, I believe Go Pokemon Go from the Pokemon X album, again, that's the 2006-2007 CD, not the game soundtrack, is the most underrated Pokemon song ever. He says it has beautiful vocals. I would like to know who is the singer of the song. I did reply back to him. Based on my knowledge, it is Atsushi Toya Tokuya. I have no idea if I said that right, but that's who I have listed down. To be honest, the part towards the end that sort of speeds up and is a little bit different from the song is kind of my favorite part. This was used, part of it was used as the ending theme song for the Season 9 in the dub Battle Frontier. You would hear this playing over the end credits. To be honest, I think I got kind of tired of it after a while. Believe it or not, I actually kind of took it off the station during the sort of the waning days of PIRN. Just because I was getting kind of fatigued by it. It just, and if you went to one of like the Journey Across America events that they had back in 2006,
oh yeah,
they had this thing playing like consistently on loop at all the regional events for that. That was maybe not the best choice. Like I said, I don't want to say it's awful, but I definitely got tired of it after a while. So sorry, Luis. What about you, Anne? Any thoughts on this one? You know which one we're talking about?
I actually don't have any thoughts. Like, it's kind of one of the ones that slipped under my radar. So, I'd probably recognize it if someone started playing it. But yeah, I'm like struggling to come up with the opening melody.
Yeah, I think it was also used with the Mastermind of Mirage Pokemon. So that may be another reason. I've never bothered to watch that whole thing. So,
and you don't need to.
I'm sorry to the folks who worked on that, but
my podcast will cover it someday. Yeah, no, I'm sure everyone did their best, but like, I have thoughts about it.
That is one part of the voice actor transition that is maybe best skipped over. Sorry. Like I said, I know you tried. I don't hate you for it or anything.
It was not a brilliant script from the get-go, so they were working with poor materials.
But but if you like that song, that's fine. I mean, I'm not gonna berate you or say you're a terrible person or anything like that. That's not the point of this series.
Yeah, no, when he brings up beautiful vocals, I kind of now wonder why I don't know this song, so I might have to go check it out. So thank you for recommending it.
Yeah, the actual singer seems to be quite accomplished, and I'd love to hear some of her other material, although I don't know where I'd have to dig for that, I suppose. All right, well, next one I have is Jerusalem Garcia. He says, I'm going to say that several of the songs from the 4Kids era, Everything Changes, My Best Friends, You Can Do It If You Really Try, Together Forever, all talk about the importance of friendship and how change is part of the journey and adventure. In the Totally Pokemon CD, The Game, Biggest Part of My Life, and You and Me and Pokemon also stand out to me. The former, because the lyrics are general and don't explicitly focus on Pokemon. However, you can tell that the message is serious and something you shouldn't forget. If you want to move ahead, you need to work hard, but the lessons you learn will stay with you. The latter two remind me that you can be serious, but there's always room to have fun. It's hard to forget the memories we make in the games, watching anime, or reading the manga, and we'll always be grateful for those times. So yeah, I think that's something we need to definitely say here is that, there's a lot of memories built into these songs from playing the games, watching the TV show, and this sort of helps to compartmentalize that. So I think that's one of the definite values here. A pretty wide swath with the songs here. I mean, other than like You and Me and Pokemon, My Best Friends, and Together Forever, those were the ones that had, the short form videos in the Pikachu's Jukebox or Karaoke-mon segments. The other ones, not so much. And do you have any thoughts on that?
I'm definitely seeing a theme going through them, yeah. Yeah, I think this person, Jerusalem, I think we have a similar tastes. Like, yeah, the gravitating towards the more serious and like, what is the meaning of this show and the memories that we make that are more than just the fun times, but also the serious ones as well. Yeah, these are the songs that capture them a lot. And yeah, biggest part of my life. Oh, man.
I mean, Pokemon, yes, it's a commercial venture. It's designed to sell stuff, but they expect us to buy things because they believe that they represent a value to us as consumers. I always try to square things that way. But I also did mention Everything Changes I wanted to call out here because I really wish that had you could do a really cool music video with that, with some like trick editing and stuff like that. I think there's some real potential there. It's kind of a shame that it didn't get a Pikachu's Jukebox version of it. But I think you could do some really neat things there. I think maybe one of the reasons they didn't do that is there's technically an inaccuracy in the song, and that Brock is in there when Butterfree evolves, but he wasn't there yet. But maybe that's what stopped them. I don't know. Okay, next one up, Lapras GD. That's someone from Germany. Hard to pick a specific one, but pretty much all the songs from the other Asian countries, Thailand, Korea, Cantonese-speaking part of China, no one ever talks about those. For the most part, they're original songs, but still thinks they're pretty nice. Let's see, mentioned a couple. Yeonha, Korea ending song for the Zoroark movie, was just picked as a random example. Didn't think it was as good as the, Ice Cream Syndrome from Sukima Switch, but this person did like that more than the Western versions. And it isn't mentioned. Yeah, that's one thing there is that the outside of like the US, Japan, and some of the European stuff, like we mentioned the Italian stuff, as a counterpoint, Korea, China, I would love to have gotten, those songs and play them on the station, because some of them do seem to be quite good, but locating them down is virtually impossible. I mean, I know Korea's population-wise not a super huge country, but it's really a shame.
But their music industry is really quite huge. It's kind of right on par with Japan's, though. So, yeah, no. When I saw you emailed me the comments, I started looking for a couple of them, but being that I don't read Korean or Chinese, I was never quite sure if I was actually getting a Pokemon song or, if it was a fan vid or something. But yeah, no, anybody who wants to recommend stuff we should check out, like, I'll definitely be looking up Yunha. But if you got any others, Lapras GD, send them over. I would love to look them up and see if I start becoming a fan of some of those songs.
Yeah, it is kind of a shame. I guess maybe they're more well known in that part of the world, but it seems like if it's not Japanese and it's not something derived from English in some way, it seems like it is pretty hard to find, which is really unfortunate.
It's true. Japan or America rules the Pokemon fandom on the internet. You're in one of those camps, and everybody else just kind of seems to sit by the side. So definitely promote the songs you love so that we can know about them.
And Anne, you did get one comment on your Patreon about this. Why don't you read that one off?
Yeah, Anime Guy had a couple that he wanted to throw into the ring. The Johto Poke Rap. He says the main one was amazing, but takes all the glory of the Poke Rap, and the Hoenn one I never found to be that enjoyable.
Really?
Yeah, it seems to be a theme here. But yeah, no, I'm with him. I love the Johto Poke Rap too. He also says Johto Champion's English opening, Born to be a Winner. Of most of the songs, I see this one talked about the least, and it's an amazing song, one of my favorite openings. And he also recommends the XYZ opening Stand Tall, specifically the Volcanion movie version. He says it's a great song, and I end up singing it to myself during work. And I had never actually heard that one, so when he recommended, I went to look. That has got some sweet electric guitar, that Volcanion movie version of Stand Tall. It's kind of amazing, and I love it.
Yeah, as far as, we're getting into of course, the modern era, the Ed Goldfarb era, I kind of think he's a better arranger and composer than he is a lyricist.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But he has put out some good stuff. Of the, 2 XY original ones, I guess Stand Tall is probably the better one. I'm not going to say I'm the hugest fan of either of those, but he does some decent work out there.
Yeah, Born to be a Winner too. I'm really so glad. I have 50 honorable mentions, but Born to be a Winner was one of them. It's just, I love the chorus. I love kind of the remixing of the original theme. Yeah.
Yeah, it parallels what was done in the Japanese side, where they also redid, Aim to be a Pokemon Master, but there it was much more direct. Here on the English side, they decided to add a little more to it. And of course, on the English side, it's the first David Rolfe theme, which would last through season 8. And one of these days, I gotta find out where he is these days and do an interview, because I would love absolutely to do that. Some really good choices. I mean, there's so much out there that I guess you could say a lot of it is underrated. But, that was one of always the hard parts of running a radio station. But, yeah, if you have any further stuff, certainly give us a comment or drop us an email. Can't say we'll get that into a future episode, but we always love hearing that.
Yeah. Hey, if we get enough of them, I would not mind sitting down a couple months in the future and doing a round 2 of this, so.
Yeah, absolutely. But with that said, I think that's going to wrap up this episode. So let's look forward. We did say this was the break between Advanced Generation and Diamond and Pearl, so our next movie is Movie 10, The Rise of Darkrai.
Yes.
So this is another kind of unusual one, because on the Japanese side, we have, oddly, an English song. Mm-hmm. It is I Will Be With You Where the Lost Ones Go, performed by Sarah Brightman. And there's actually a couple different versions of that, so we'll have some fun talking about that. On the English side, we have, a British singer, technically speaking. She has been living here in the U.S. for a while, I suppose, but Kirsten Price gives us I'll Always Remember You. And this is kind of a divisive one with some folks. I think I am in the minority opinion, but I'll leave you to decide what that is until next time. And I think I have some maybe not perfect reasons, or maybe not perfectly defensible reasons for that. I'll leave you to your mind to try and figure out what that is.
It's music. We don't have to have logical reasons to like her or dislike something.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Anne. Been great having you on.
Always. Thank you.
This has been Stephen Reich from the Pokepress Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, discussing some underappreciated Pokemon songs.